Hi, good afternoon, good morning, everyone. This is Ankur Rawat, Associate Director, Products and Solutions for Newgen Software. Thanks a lot for joining in the SBA PPP Solutions webinar. And we are excited to show how we have aligned our solution on a very quick, rapid development mode to the SBA PPP guidelines and how we are helping different institutions with which we are deploying, onboarding some of them already. I also have Michael Fondesi, who is part of our Products and Solutions group, and he will be taking this webinar in terms of the presentation. And towards the end, we will be opening the forum for any questions that the participants might have. If you have any questions, you can always use the questions board to put in the questions, and we'll be happy to answer. Michael, over to you.
Thank you, Ankur. So as Ankur said, this is Michael Fondesi. I'm one of the solutions consultants with Newgen Software. So we did just want to go ahead and provide this opportunity to let everyone learn more about our SBA PPP loan solution. We really quickly responded here to be able to be able to handle this fast-paced kind of need that's been developed here recently. So let me quickly get here, begin our slideshow here. So Newgen, we really believe we can provide a lot of value here for the entire life cycle management of the Paycheck Protection Program loans. Now our solution is built upon our business process management platform. Now this is a low-code workflow platform with enterprise content management capabilities built right into the system. So we are able to completely digitally transform and automate the life cycle of the loan, and we have extensive experience doing this across the globe for financial institutions throughout commercial lending, small business lending, consumer lending. We're able to handle different sizes and types of loans. So here on the slide, you can see an overview of Newgen solutions for the PPP loans. What we have done to respond to this scenario is we have divided the process into two parts. So the first part is where there are activities which are very time sensitive. So the activities that we want to be able to complete as soon as possible. Then the second part, there are activities which do not necessarily have that urgency and can be handled at a later time. So for the application submission portion of the process, we do offer an online portal which will allow the applications to be initiated by the borrowers and then submitted online. Now this portal can be embedded as part of the financial institution's website, or we can also interface, we also provide an interface for lenders to initiate the application on behalf of the borrowers. So the online submission is pretty straightforward. The process provides the ability to perform the eligibility checks on the borrowers before they actually submit the application. So as a financial institution, you're not trying to sift through and filter out these applications where you have eligible borrowers or borrowers are not eligible here for the program. Now the online portal also serves as a channel for submitting the documentation that will be required as part of the process. Now, in the case that the financial institution has already received electronic PDF applications or paper applications, but more specifically, the electronic PDF applications is what I'm speaking to now. These applications can be imported into Newgen solution, where the solution is able to extract the data automatically into the system. So the solution does support all versions of Form 2483 that have been released by the SBA. Now, something that has come up in our discussions is that some financial institutions have already entered in application data, let's say maybe into a database or spreadsheets. Now, the solution does support the ability to import that existing data to be readily utilized in the system for the loan process, no matter where you're at in the workflow of the existing applications that are already currently in process. Now, once the applications are initiated through any of these channels, the opportunity is visible in the back office of the solution and allows the lenders to perform the required due diligence and then directly submit the application to the eTrans system. So this happens in real time using Newgen's integration with eTrans, using web services. And even prior to the CARES Act for the PPP loans, Newgen was already doing this with this capability with multiple clients for SBA loans. So Newgen is pretty experienced in this area. Now, once the SBA loan number is generated, the system receives that back, and then this will serve as the approval, which is obviously very important here, as the funds of the loan program are allocated to small businesses on a first-come, first-served basis. Once that number is received back from the SBA, the timeline is a little more relaxed. So the remaining part of the workflow, such as the reviews, documentation, the booking, this can kind of move along as per the financial institution's timeline. Now, as for the review portion of the workflow here, we have heard from different financial institutions in terms of different review mechanisms, such as checklists, checking the core for existing clients' exposure, and so on. So whatever the institution's review process is, the solution can support it through the workflow. And if any exceptions occur, this can be handled within the workflow to work with the borrowers to resolve exceptions and update the information in eTrans if that's required. Now, in terms of the documentation activities, Newgen does integrate with LaserPro to push the data from LaserPro to LaserPro to generate the documents, and then we can ingest them back into Newgen's solution. Now, Newgen can also integrate with e-sign applications to completely digitize the entire process, enable the process to be completed in this kind of new environment of increased importance on being able to do everything remotely. Finally, for the booking, as the solution needs to be quickly deployed as soon as possible, we're not necessarily expecting the solution to integrate with the core right now. While Newgen can integrate with core systems, this is simply just a time-saving aspect, so we can get the system up and live as soon as possible. Now, since the solution is built on a business process management platform, the solution has a real-time reporting monitoring dashboard, so you're able to see different aspects in the process, so the status of the loans, the different loan values, how many loans have been approved or how many have been rejected, and so on. Now, one last thing to highlight before we jump into the screens of the solution is that the provision for handling the loan forgiveness part of the program, we do understand this is not really something that's going to be kicking in until maybe about 7 weeks from now, but we are creating that provision so that all the calculations, the data collections, all this will happen within the solution, and then we'll have the ability to push that data to eTrans for the loan forgiveness. So this is something that is currently being created, and this will be aligned to the SBA's final guidelines to be released as a service pack to have that capability. So now let's jump into the screens of the solutions interfaces. So here we can start to see some of the screens of the online portal that we offer. So this is a device responsive channel for borrowers to be able to submit the application. Now, unlike the PDF application, the portal will help guide the borrowers in terms of how the application has to be filled, and also if there's help if there's for the calculations that are required for the process. So this portal, this application portal, will be connected with the institution's website. That's able to be quickly deployed as a link, and they'll be having the matching logos and messaging of the institution. So here on the screen, you can also see that as a first step, capturing the basic details of the applicant. So we have their contact information, the email address, phone number. So if we need to get in contact with them, that's one of the first things we're able to capture here. And then we're also capturing the purpose of the loan. Now moving on to this next screen, you can see that what we're doing here is capturing the eligibility, or checking the eligibility of the applicant. So we'll just go through all the requirements as aligned to the SBA requirements to determine if the applicant is eligible for this program. And if they are not, if there's anything out of line through answering these questions, we're presenting them with a message just to let them know that they're not eligible. And then we can, since we've already captured their information, we'll be able to go ahead and reach out to them. Maybe we can work with them on some other type of loan that they might be eligible for. So again, everything is going to be aligned to the SBA guidelines. So here you can see we're asking if they were operational on February 15th, 2020, if they're a franchise, if they have any affiliates, determining if those affiliates fall within the SBA 72, asking about the employees, the number of employees, the gross receipts over the last 3 years. All the guidelines that will be finalized from the SBA will be incorporated here into the portal. And then once we determine that everything is in line, we'll be able to let the applicants know that they are eligible for the PPP loan. And we can go ahead and continue with the process here. So here on the screen, what we're doing is capturing the different attributes which will define the actual payroll amounts. So this is going to be driven by whether the business was in operation in the last 12 months, if it's a seasonal business, the type of business it is. And then based upon the responses that were provided, the solution is going to provide a spreadsheet which can be downloaded by the borrowers. And then the spreadsheet is going to be specifically aligned to that type of applicant or that type of business. So for example, if we have a sole proprietor, they're going to receive a sole proprietor spreadsheet versus if it was a seasonal business or a self-employment scenario. So we'll be able to help them with those calculations using the spreadsheet there. Now, based on these calculations, and then also if there is an existing EIDL loan, we're able to go ahead and then calculate the maximum loan that they'll be qualified for, and then just go ahead and display that easily on the screen there for them, and then allow the applicants to enter in their actual loan amount that they would like to request. So as we move along, we are ensuring that the system does not allow the applicants to enter any details or information that would be invalid. So here we're not letting them enter in an invalid loan amount, so only going up to the maximum which we've already calculated for them. Not able to request any invalid amount, any length of tenure before we actually submit the application. Now, the forms, again, are dynamic in nature. So while it is device responsive, it is also dynamic in the sense that based upon the responses to the questions, the entity type that the loan is for, the next fields that are presented dynamically to the applicants so that they're not wasting time entering any details that are not necessarily relevant for their scenario. So here we're looking at some of the ownership details. So we are making sure to align the portal application with all the SBA guidelines. So here we're capturing the number of individuals which own 20% or more of the business. So we have all of their information, their ownership percentage, indicating if they're an authorized signer, and as well as if there's any married couples that fall into that same requirement as well. So finally, once we complete all the application requirements and those are filled out, the borrowers are presented with the list of documents that will be required to be uploaded. Now, one of these is going to be the SBA form here up at the top, which will be the latest form that is available from the SBA. So this can be filled and then digitally signed and then uploaded here into the portal. Similarly, depending on the entity that is filling out the application, they might require some additional forms. So form 940, 941, whichever is required there, we'll go ahead and populate those forms there. And they can fill those out and upload those here. Now, once this is complete, they can go ahead and submit the application. Now, all the details that we've captured along with the documents are going to be passed to the back office interface where the lenders will be able to work on the different loans. So here we just have a view of our back office interface. Now, it is built upon our business process management platform, so it is a queue-based system. So depending on the responses and the outcomes of the application, it's going to be directed to a particular queue. And then the back office users can then be assigned to those different loans, based upon workload, skill set. However we want to have that assigned, we're able to do that. As it is based upon our robust business process management platform, we are able to have that full, complete workflow capability of exception management, escalation management. All that's going to be able to be handled here through the system. Again, any of the documents that we've collected will be visible here for viewing. Any of the data that we possibly have extracted from ePDFs can be extracted and visible in this interface. But if we did have a scenario where you did have a paper application, we would have that capability of simply going ahead and manually entering that data into the interface as well. So here we're able to see some more of the details of the loan. So any of the responses from the application questions, all the different details that were provided as part of the application will be visible here as when they passed on from the portal. Any of the other eligibility and loan calculation details will be visible here. So all the loan that we've calculated, the loan amount requested, the tenure. Now there might be some details that are required for the E-Trans submission that might not necessarily be relevant to capture from the customer portal. So we do have that capability of going ahead and capturing that data, those fields here, as part of the back office interface, and that can be then passed on to the E-Trans. So once that whole process is finished, you have the lenders ensures that all the data matches, you've performed your due diligence, you've approved it on the financial institution side. We can go ahead and submit that right through Newgen solution to have all that loan data pushed to E-Trans, to have that loan booked on the E-Trans side to be able to generate the SBA loan number. So this will be a real-time interface with SBA to go ahead and push that information, and then they can capture that number back from them. Now when it comes to the documentation and booking, again, we are able to go ahead and integrate with LaserPro, DocuSign. We are also open to integrating with other doc prep providers as required. So here's just a few sample reports we have on our dashboard monitoring tool. So again, you have that complete visibility into everything that's happening within the solution. So all of the loans you're accepting, how many have been approved, how many are in process, the different channels that the loans are coming from. You're going to have complete visibility into all of that throughout the process and the life cycle of the loan. We'd also have the capability of going ahead and scheduling those reports. So if you have different stakeholders that might want to see these reports, if you want different, if you want to be updated daily, after so many hours, a different hour interval, we can go ahead and schedule those reports to be delivered to those stakeholders' inboxes. So that's pretty much what we wanted to cover for the solution. I guess we're going to go ahead and then open this up to any questions that we might have. And we do have one question here. It says, let's say we sign with Newgen tomorrow. How long until we can go live? And that's it's a pretty common question. It's a great question here. So what we've been seeing so far, we have been onboarding clients here since this act has been passed here. We're kind of looking at a 36 to 48 hour timeline from contract signing up until we can go live at your institution here. So we've kind of kept the process while we try to keep it as simple as possible, but while also covering the SBA guidelines and requirements, with the goal of being able to go ahead and get this going as soon as possible, because obviously time is of the essence in this scenario. So we have a question here about asking about if there are any future changes coming down from the SBA, who will be required to make those changes. So Newgen will go ahead and we will be able to implement any of those changes that are coming down the road. So any different requirements that might be coming from the SBA, any different changes to the guidelines, all that will be incorporated by Newgen.
Okay. Hi, this is Ankur. I can see some of the questions, and I was planning to respond to all of those one by one. So we have responded to some of those, and then we have few of other questions which I'm going to take one by one. So the second question that we have is Newgen essentially a digital platform? And so the answer is that it provides a business process management platform which covers the entire life cycle of different processes such as account opening or consumer lending. And one of the modules for that is a digital platform. So when we say digital, it is a digital account opening solution. It has digital consumer lending application as a support or as a module, as part of the portfolio. Secondly, it also covers the entire life cycle post the application submission. So the entire loan origination cycle or the entire customer onboarding cycle is also handled. If there are any follow-up questions on that, you can again put it on the message board. I'm going to take the other question. So what does a bank need to do to enroll with SBA as part of PPP? So yes, so typically that is a process that we are not automating as of now, but there is an SBA form that you need to submit to SBA to get enrolled and start disbursing the funds as per this program. But as of now, we are not covering that as part of the solution, and that activity has to be done outside the Newgen platform. How long does it take to stand up a platform? As of now, and we are all aware of the the changes that have been happening, and we are on top of it. We are rapidly updating the solution to ensure that all of the requirements are met. As of now, we are in the process of onboarding multiple clients, and we have seen a cycle time of 36 to 48 hours at the max. Okay, so that's 36 to 48 hours is the time after we sign the agreement with the client. I'm going to take another question. Are the eligibility question standards and are driven by SBA? Yes. So all of the questions that we are publishing on portal as well as in the lenders page for the new application, those automatically will calculate the eligibility as well as the loan amount. And but at the same time, we are also ensuring that we have the application, the PDF filled by the applicant. Okay, so both of these, the compliance piece and the intelligent eligibility checks are baked into the solution. Then another question is that is Newgen site or cloud hosted? So we are cloud hosted for this particular solution as well, and we are using Amazon Web Services. The next question is, we do not use Laser Pro currently. Would we still be able to use this platform? Yes, you can still use the platform, and we used Laser Pro. We offered Laser Pro as default because we have already integrated with Laser Pro. If you are using something else, we can still take some time and try to integrate with that platform, whether it is CSI, Walter Close. But to ensure speed, we would recommend if in the initial days, if you don't have Laser Pro, you can do the document generation manually. So that's a recommendation. But again, if you have any other system, we can work with you to integrate with that. What steps do banks need to take with the SB directly if we don't do business loans today? I think I've already answered. There's a form that needs to be submitted. We can probably write the name of the form that needs to be submitted, and it's outside Newgen, so that will have to be taken offline. Is this a servicing platform as well? Yes. So Newgen also provides servicing platform. However, as part of this current initiative, the servicing has been kept out of scope. We are, however, capturing or providing a provision for loan forgiveness later on. Okay, and we would like to discuss this with other clients as well. Does the servicing need to be done by each of us banks? Yes. So the servicing process, yes, it will have to be done by the banks. We are not offering any servicing, but we do offer servicing platform. And for this particular solution, we are offering the module for loan forgiveness, wherein we will provide a portal, the calculations and the document collection, and then updating the same into ETRAN. So we are offering that. The next question is, where would the data reside at? We have a lot of people working from their homes. Can you do security by whitelisting IP addresses for security? Yes, yes. So we do have all of those provisions of ensuring and enabling remote workers, and all of the data can be encrypted. We can whitelist IP addresses to be able to be accessed from a specific network. What if the client wants to apply for this over phone or have their relationship manager advisor complete this application for them? So yes, as part of the compliance, obviously the applicant will need to fill in the PDF form, and on their behalf, the advisors can fill in the information. The only thing is that towards the lending side, we will have to capture the agent or the relationship manager's name to ensure the audit for that. The last question is that where are these loans booked on? Our bank balance sheet or somewhere else? So these loans will surely be booked onto your bank balance sheet because essentially the disbursement is also happening from your own core. The only thing is that these are guaranteed. So the guarantee is booked or registered within ETRAN. Okay. Did we have any other questions? I'll wait for a while if somebody puts up a question on question board. What drives the size of each loan? So typically the size, obviously as per PPP program, is limited in terms of the value. So 10 million is the maximum loan amount. And if I understand the question correctly, I think that's the question. So depending upon the payroll calculations for different entities, the maximum loan amount is calculated, and this calculation is already baked into our system. We are providing guidance to the borrowers to arrive at that figure. So we'll wait for any more questions. Okay, so the next question is that do borrowers need to make payments on these loans? How does the forgiveness work? So yeah, so I think these are all SBA guideline questions, but yeah, we are happy to answer those. So borrowers, yes, borrowers need to make payments on these loans. The payments can be deferred, at least by 6 months and maximum of 1 year. And the forgiveness is again as per the SBA guidelines, where there are specific rules for forgiveness, wherein 75% of the amount for the 8 weeks after the loan is originated has to be invested or spent on payrolls, and then 25% is on some other business expenses. Another question is, what happens if the business does lay off employees? Who collects the outstanding debt? So typically, if the businesses are laying off the employees, then that's against kind of the certification that they are saying that we will retain the employees, and this is one of the purpose for the loan. But even if they do that, the loan forgiveness amount will be reduced proportionately. The next question is, are the SBA guidelines setting what the interest rates are on the loan are? Yes, I mean they have highlighted, and that has changed a bit. So they have highlighted 1% as the current rate, and that could probably, going forward, it could also be at the rate of 4% in the coming time. But as of now, it's 1% on the loans with a maturity of 2 years. So I think these are the questions that we had, and thanks a lot for all the participants, in joining our webinar. And if there are any further questions, you can always contact us through our website. The recording of this webinar will also be available on our website. Feel free to contact us, and let's figure out how we can help you to to enable the PPP lending program at your institution. Okay. Thank you, and stay safe.